we can learn how to DIY. ブレアさん、いらっしゃいたなも。Like, oh, hello, welcome, Blair. いらっしゃい。which is welcome. 見ての通り、狭苦しいけど、as you can see, it's really cramped in here, but よかったらゆっくりしていってね。Please, if you like, take your time. 見ての通り。So, as you can see, quite literally. And then, 狭苦しい。which just means cramped. They're not using the kanji for sema, which is semi. Probably because it's intended to be for kids, so they don't want to like overload us with kanji. よかったら if you like. The tara part of よかったら is the thing that you can, the other things will conjugate into as well. So you can use that if you want to. If you have, so you can say, for instance, samui, which means cold. But you can also, the past version of that is samukatta, which is it was cold. And then you can say samukattara, which means if it was cold or if it is cold. ゆっくりしていって。So, when you say ゆっくり, it usually means like slow unhurriedly at one's leisure. So they're just saying, stay a while. 島での過ごし方とか何かアドバイスが必要だったら遠慮なく僕に相談してちょうだい。So, a fairly long sentence, but 島での過ごし方. So, how to live, how to perform island, how to spend time on the island. 島で, which is on the island. 過ごし方, which is how to spend time. 何か advice, so some kind of advice. 必要だったら if it's necessary, if you find that it's necessary. 遠慮なく without restraint. 僕に to me 相談して consult me. So 過ごし方 過ごし方 isn't in the dictionary by itself, but 過ごし is it's just a conjugation of 過ごす, which is to pass time. So it's turning it from a verb into a noun. And then kata, which we saw before to mean like a person, but is also used to mean a method of or a manner of doing something. We then have 何か advice, アドバイス. So advice, アドバイスが必要. If it's necessary. だったら遠慮なく. Yeah, without reservation. 僕に相談. So we have consultation or discussion. あと何か必要なものがあれば. So if there is anything else that you also need, 豆吉に聞いてみてほしいだなも。I'll have you ask Mame Kichi. So don't ask me if you need things, because Mame Kichi is the one that has all the things for us. And here we see the word for mono, which is the word for things. And the word to ask is kiku, which also means to hear, but it also means like to ask for something. Chotto shita mono nara, if it's just a little thing, kaimono shite moraeru kara ne. If it's just a little thing, then he will go shopping for you. Why is advice katakana? It's because it's an imported word from English, so it's a loan word. Like, rather than using the word, like the equivalent Japanese word for advice, which is sodan. I think there is a native word for that concept. I think it is sodan. Sodan is the act of asking someone for advice. So advice by itself gives us, let's see. The native word, I think, it could be chukoku, which is advice, but it's also like a warning. And the same thing with keikoku, that would also be a warning or advice. There is another word which is more a suggestion, which is jogen. But I think that those words, I wonder about those words actually, because they're both N1 level. I think the more common word that's in usage is advice. Is it just using a foreign word for the cool or folksy factor? That is some of it, yeah. Like English words to the Japanese ear sound cooler. So like they often will use them to just sound cool. For je ne sais quoi, yeah. Yeah, it's exactly like I use je ne sais quoi all the time, and it's a piece of French, and I don't really understand French, so I don't know what I'm doing. But it's the same thing in Japanese. I'm going to get rid of these words so that we don't save them. I didn't want to do that. Well, they're gone now, so gone forever. So kaimono is shopping or purchasing goods. Or like it can be the je ne sais quoi. I don't know what that means. Kaimono can be the act of shopping or the things that you bought itself, much like the word shopping in English. Gyakuni fuyouhin no kaitori mo yatteru kara okane ga hitsuyou na toki wa nande mo mochikonde mitara ii da na mo. So, gyakuni is probably the easiest thing in this sentence. It just means on the other hand. Fuyouhin, so which is unneeded goods. It says in the dictionary, in formal terms, it says disused article, but I'm going to change this just to read unused goods. Hi, the editor. Kaitori mo yatteru kara. So kaitori is, in this context, a trade-in or a buyback, like buying used goods. So they're saying, the first line says, Gyaku ni fuyouhin no kaitori mo yatteru kara, because we're also buying used goods on the other hand. And the second line says, okane ga hitsuyou na toki wa, in times where you need money, nandemo mochikonde mitara ii. You should try to bring us as much as you can. お金 So お金 money. And we know what 必要 is. 時 is an occasion, like a time. 何でも So 何でも means anything or anything. It can mean any or anything, or whatever. Hello, Miss Mustard. Miss Mustard? I don't know how to pronounce that. Miss Mustard. Welcome. So what was I saying? 何でも持ち込んで. So 持ち込む is to it usually means to carry. Like to take something into something else or to bring something in. So 持つ by itself actually means to carry. Let's see. Yeah, so 持つ by itself just means to carry. But when you say 持ち込む, it means usually like a more complete version of the action. So to carry with you, to carry into something. So それから which is the way he's saying this is like he's like, oh yeah, that reminds me. Or oh yeah, from that point on. Oh, thanks for the follow. 今、島暮らしで便利に使える道具を DIY で自分で作ってみるという無料のワークショップもやってるんだの。だも both, all of the tanuki in this use weird sentence enders to kind of indicate the fact that they are tanuki. So let's go from the top. Ima, which is right now. Why is it down the bottom there? So, shimagarashi, which is island life. で、便利に使える道具. So, 便利に使える道具. So, a 道具 by itself is a tool of some sort or an implement. And then we have 使える is to be able to use or to be usable or useful. And then the first word is 便利, which is convenient or useful. So really, 便利に使える道具 means tools you can usefully use or tools you are convenient tools that you are able to use. So DIY で自分で作ってみるという So if I take the last part out of the sentence, we have DIY で自分で作ってみる. So 作る is to make things. And then 作ってみる is to try to make things. And then 自分 means myself, yourself, oneself. It means by yourself. So trying to make things by yourself. 自分で作ってみる. And the method that they're suggesting is DIY. So you can say DIY で自分で作ってみる, which is to try to make DIY things by yourself. という So という is a grammar point that I'll get back to in a second. 無料のワークショップもやってる. So we also have like a free workshop. We are also doing a free workshop where you can learn, you can try to make DIY things by yourself, to help you on your island life, to make useful tools. So という is probably probably... It usually means called or named or that says something. I think they're saying, like, they could be saying that the workshop is a DIY workshop. But it doesn't really make sense in this context. I need to go and study the meaning of toyu again to be able to explain it properly, but I think most of it is communicated without getting into that grammar point. And I'm going to tag that so I come back to it. Okay, and then the last part of this, which is free of charge or gratuitous. Right. DIY はこの先絶対に役に立つし、ブレアさんもぜひ体験してみてちょうだいね。So, he's saying that DIY is from now definitely going to be useful. And you, Blair, should definitely please try and come and get some practical experience. この先. So beyond this point, from now on, I think is a better definition for this. And then, 絶対に. So absolutely or unconditionally. It can also mean never if the verb at the end of the sentence is negative, but it means, in this case, the sentence is positive. 役に立つ. So we had earlier 役立つ, which was that today? Yeah. I'm going to pop this up again. So we had 役立つ earlier. 役に立つ is the word that's on the screen now. And they both basically mean the same thing. They're just, one of them is a slight contraction of the other one. So 役立つ and 役に立つ mean the same thing. ぜひ体験してみてちょうだい.